Betrayal. Harold Pinter's 1983 film Betrayal pioneered mainstream reverse chronology storytelling by depicting a 7-year extramarital affair starting at its bitter end and working backwards to the beginning. Adapted from Pinter's 1978 play, with a screenplay by Pinter himself and directed by David Jones, the film stars Jeremy Irons as Jerry, a literary agent, Ben Kingsley as Robert, a London publisher, and Patricia Hodge as Emma, Robert's wife who owns an art gallery. The narrative unfolds through 9 sequences shown in reverse chronological order, spanning 1977 back to 1968. It opens with Jerry and Emma meeting in a pub 2 years after their affair ended, then moves through pivotal moments including dinner parties where secrets unravel and private encounters that reveal the depth of their deception. Interestingly, scenes within the years 1977 and 1973 actually move forward chronologically, creating a complex dual motion that enhances the emotional impact. Roger Ebert awarded it 4 stars, while Vincent Canby praised it as simply and grandly realized. The film earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay in 1984. This reverse structure strips away the typical romantic buildup of traditional love stories, showing instead how knowledge of the future casts a devastating shadow over every seemingly happy moment. By presenting consequences before causes, Betrayal forces viewers to watch the characters' deceptions, knowing exactly where they lead, creating dramatic irony that intensifies the emotional devastation. Happy End. In 1967, Czechoslovakian director Oldřich Lipský created Happy End, a darkly comic masterpiece where literally everything runs backwards. This isn't just reverse scene arrangement, but actual reversed footage where characters move backwards, food comes out of mouths, and water flows upward. The 71-minute film stars Vladimir Menšík as butcher Bedřich Friedrich, in a collaboration between director Lipský and screenwriter Miloš Makurek. The film opens with a man's severed head reattaching to his body as a guillotine blade rises, and he declares this moment his birth. Throughout the runtime, the narrator refers to the execution as birth and his actual birth as death, inverting our understanding of life's trajectory. The story follows the butcher backwards from his execution for murdering his wife, through his childhood spent in prison, to him assembling his wife from mutilated parts, which is actually the moment he kills and dismembers her in real chronological time. Using techniques borrowed from silent cinema and Dadaist aesthetics, Happy End became part of the Czech New Wave movement and premiered at Czech festivals in 1967. It predates more famous reverse chronology films by decades, coming 33 years before Memento brought the technique to mainstream American audiences. The Czech National Film Archive created a new 4K restoration released in 2024, ensuring this groundbreaking work remains accessible to modern audiences. Happy End represents the most extreme experiment in reverse cinema ever attempted. Two Friends. Jane Campion's 1986 television film Two Friends quietly pioneered reverse storytelling to chronicle the dissolution of a teenage friendship over the course of 1 year. Before Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and before Memento, Campion was experimenting with backwards narrative structure in this intimate, Australian drama. The film stars Emma Coles as Louise and Chris Bedenko as Kelly, two 15-year-old girls from working-class families living in the outskirts of Sydney. Written by renowned Australian novelist Helen Garner, the 76-minute film was made for Australian television and premiered at the 1986 Cannes Film Festival in the Uncertain Regard section, a rare honor for a TV movie that heralded Campion's arrival as a major filmmaking talent. The story unfolds in 5 distinct sections, moving backwards through the friendship. It opens with the two friends grown distant after attending different schools. Louise studious and proper in her school uniform, while Kelly has bleached hair, punk gear, and lives with friends at the beach, experimenting with substances and casual relationships. We learn both girls pass the difficult entrance exam for the exclusive City Girls High School, a stepping stone to university. But Kelly's stepfather Malcolm, a shiftless and jealous man, refuses to let her attend, breaking the bond between the girls and wrecking Kelly's future with a single stroke. The film won 3 1987 ACTA awards, including Best Telefeature, Best Achievement in Direction, and Best Screenplay. François Ozon later cited Two Friends as direct inspiration for his own reverse chronology film, 5x2. Peppermint Candy. Lee Chang-dong's 1999 South Korean masterpiece, Peppermint Candy, opens with a man in crisis screaming, "I want to go back!" then grants his wish by rewinding 20 years through the events that destroyed him. Starring Sol Kyung-gu as Kim Yong-ho, this deeply political film premiered at the Busan International Film Festival, and became the ninth highest-grossing domestic film of 2000, with 311,000 admissions in Seoul. The narrative divides into 7 chapters, spanning 1979 to 1999, shown in complete reverse chronological order. It opens in spring 1999 at a riverside reunion, where Young-ho crashes the event, appears deeply troubled, then stands on train tracks shouting his desperate wish to return to the past before a train approaches. We see him progress in reverse from 1999 broken businessman to 1994 failing businessman with a crumbling marriage, to 1987 brutal police officer torturing suspects, to 1984 soldier who accidentally kills a student during the Gwangju uprising, finally ending in 1979 when he was an innocent student meeting his first love Sun-im at a picnic by the river. The peppermint candy becomes a powerful recurring symbol throughout. Sun-im gives him candy at their first meeting, sends candies to him during his military service, and in one of the film's most devastating scenes, he brings peppermint candies to her comatose body in a hospital near the end of his life. The film masterfully intertwines personal tragedy with Korean political history, weaving in the military dictatorship, the Gwangju Uprising massacre, where government forces killed hundreds of civilians, and the Asian financial crisis that devastated the country. Peppermint Candy uses reverse chronology not as gimmick, but as profound political statement about how national trauma shapes individual lives. Memento. Christopher Nolan's Memento didn't just tell a story backwards, it made audiences experience memory loss alongside its amnesiac protagonist, creating one of cinema's most innovative narrative experiments. Released in March 2000 at select festivals with wide release in 2001, the film stars Guy Pearce as Leonard Shelby, a man suffering from anterograde amnesia who can't form new short-term memories after the trauma of his wife being murdered. Leonard uses an external memory system of tattoos covering his body, Polaroid photographs, and handwritten notes to track the killer's identity and maintain any sense of continuity in his fractured existence. The film employs a brilliantly complex dual narrative structure, with black and white scenes moving forward chronologically, while color scenes move backward. These color scenes run in reverse 5 to 10-minute segments, with each segment ending exactly where the previous one began, deliberately disorienting viewers in the same way Leonard experiences constant disorientation. Made on a budget of $9 million, the film grossed $40 million worldwide, far exceeding expectations for such an experimental indie thriller. The film earned Academy Award nominations for Best Original Screenplay and Best Film Editing in 2002. As the narrative unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that Leonard may be an unreliable narrator, possibly having already found and killed his wife's attacker, but now being manipulated by others into killing additional targets. This breakthrough film launched Nolan to A-list director status, directly leading to his work on Batman Begins, Inception, The Dark Knight trilogy, and his continued exploration of time manipulation in films like Interstellar and Tenet. The film brought reverse chronology into mainstream consciousness and proved the technique could transcend gimmickry when the structure genuinely embodies the story's themes. Irreversible. Gaspar Noé's 2002 film, Irreversible, shocked the Cannes Film Festival by weaponizing reverse chronological structure to create unbearable emotional impact as it traces one traumatic night in Paris backwards from violent consequence to peaceful beginning. Premiering at Cannes on May 22, 2002, the film stars Monica Bellucci as Alex and Vincent Cassel as Marcus, in what Noé conceived as a backwards revenge movie after he failed to obtain rights to remake Betrayal. Shot during summer 2001 from a mere 3-page script with no written dialogue and only quarter-page scene descriptions for each segment, the film consists of 12 scenes running in reverse chronological order over the course of one night. It opens with brutal violence in the gay nightclub Le Rectum, tracks backwards through a devastating sexual assault in an underpass tunnel, and ends with a tender afternoon between lovers lounging in a Paris park, blissfully unaware of the horror awaiting them. Each scene was captured in single takes with a handheld Minima Super 16mm camera that Noé operated himself, creating a raw, documentary-like immediacy. The film employed an infamous ultra-low frequency sound technique called sense-around in the early violent scenes, using sound below the human hearing threshold specifically designed to physically unsettle viewers and create visceral discomfort even before the visual content registers consciously. From its limited theatrical release, Irreversible grossed $792,200. Critical response was intensely divided, with some critics condemning it as exploitation, while Roger Ebert reviewed it positively, arguing that the reverse structure makes it inherently moral rather than exploitative because it forces reflection on consequences. In 2019, Noé released Irreversible Straight Cut, a version recut in chronological order to allow audiences to compare how dramatically the structure affects the viewing experience and emotional impact. By the way, if this type of content interests you, I create videos like this regularly. Subscribing would really help me out. 5x2. François Ozon's 2004 film 5x2 chronicles a marriage through 5 pivotal moments shown in complete reverse order, from signing divorce papers to the couple's first romantic encounter, asking profound questions about why love dies. Released in September 2004, the film stars Valeria Bruni-Tedeschi as Marion and Stéphane Fries as Gilles in an intimate examination of relationship dissolution. The 90-minute runtime unfolds through 5 sequences presented backwards. It opens with the couple signing divorce papers in their lawyer's office, appearing civil and resigned, then immediately shows them checking into a hotel room for one final physical encounter that proves both desperate and hollow. The narrative then moves backwards through a tense dinner party where Gilles reveals infidelity in front of his gay brother and the brother's younger partner, the premature birth of their son Nicholas, with Gilles conspicuously absent from the hospital, their wedding day, when exhaustion and doubt already cloud what should be joyous celebration, and finally, the Italian beach resort where they first met and fell into passionate new love. The director cited Jane Campion's Two Friends from 1986 as direct inspiration for using reverse chronology to achieve what he called a true lucid reading of a couple's story. The film competed at the Venice Film Festival and earned a 65% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. An interesting feature included on the DVD release is a version titled 2x5 that presents all 5 sequences in chronological order, allowing viewers to experience how dramatically the backward structure changes their emotional response to identical scenes. 5x2 creates a bittersweet meditation on how relationships gradually decay through accumulated betrayals and disappointments. Eternal Sunshine. Michel Gondry's 2004 masterpiece, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, explores what happens when you could erase someone from your memory, then shows those memories disappearing in reverse chronological order as the protagonist desperately fights to preserve them. Written by Charlie Kaufman and released on March 19, 2004, the film stars Jim Carrey as Joel Barish and Kate Winslet as Clementine Krasinski in a story about love, memory, and identity. Joel discovers his ex-girlfriend Clementine used a company called Lacuna Incorporated to erase all memories of their entire relationship from her mind. Heartbroken and feeling erased himself, Joel impulsively undergoes the same procedure, but while unconscious during the process, he changes his mind and begins fighting to keep his memories of her. The bulk of the narrative takes place inside Joel's mind, as Lacuna employees erase his memories while he sleeps in his apartment. These memories are systematically erased in reverse chronological order, starting with recent fights and their painful breakup, moving through middle period struggles and growing distance, finally reaching the early happiness and excitement of first meeting. As the procedure targets his earliest, most precious memories, Joel tries hiding Clementine inside childhood memories and embarrassing moments, attempting to preserve some trace of her in parts of his mind the machine shouldn't access. The film employs brilliantly complex, non-linear structure, jumping between the present tense procedure night, the past relationship shown in reverse, and the post-procedure morning when consequences unfold. Made on a $20 million budget, the film grossed $73.3 million worldwide and won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, while earning Kate Winslet a Best Actress nomination. Eternal Sunshine uses reverse chronology to explore how memory fundamentally shapes identity and whether painful experiences give life meaning. As Joel relives his relationship backwards, moving from pain toward joy, he realizes even bad memories with Clementine hold irreplaceable value. The Prestige. Christopher Nolan's 2006 film The Prestige structures itself like an elaborate magic trick, revealing secrets backwards, while hiding the real illusion until the final revelation. Released on October 20th, 2006, the film stars Christian Bale as Alfred Borden and Hugh Jackman as Robert Angier, rival magicians in Victorian London locked in an obsessive competition following a tragedy during a performance. Adapted from Christopher Priest's 1995 novel by Nolan and his brother Jonathan Nolan, the film employs nested timelines where present investigation, past events, and diary flashbacks overlap in deliberately non-chronological fashion. The structure consciously mirrors the three-act structure of a magic trick, as explained in the film itself. The pledge establishes the rivalry, the turn introduces complications and escalating stakes, and the prestige delivers the revelations that recontextualize everything preceding. The film begins intentionally unclear and deliberately confusing, gradually coming into focus as information is revealed in carefully controlled reverse order of discovery, rather than chronological occurrence. Each major reveal forces viewers to completely reinterpret prior scenes with new context, requiring active mental participation to piece together what actually happened versus what characters believed was happening. Made on a $40 million budget, The Prestige grossed $109 million worldwide and earned Academy Award nominations for Best Cinematography and Best Art Direction. The film doesn't use pure reverse chronology like Memento, but instead scatters revelations backwards through the narrative, making the structure itself a form of misdirection. Each prestige moment forces complete recontextualization of everything before it, demonstrating how narrative order fundamentally controls what audiences believe, see, and understand, the same tools magicians employ to create impossible illusions. Shimmer Lake. The 2017 Netflix original Shimmer Lake tells a small-town bank heist story day by day in reverse, starting Friday with the bloody aftermath of a robbery gone wrong and working backwards to Monday's planning. Written and directed by Oren Uziel in his feature directorial debut, the film premiered on Netflix on June 9, 2017. It stars Benjamin Walker as Sheriff Zeke Sykes and Rainn Wilson as Andy Sykes, along with Wyatt Russell, Stephanie Sigman, John Michael Higgins, Rob Corddry, Ron Livingston, and Adam Pally. The screenplay was Uziel's first script written around 2008 or 2009, and it made the 2009 blacklist of Hollywood's most liked unproduced scripts, attracting industry attention. The story unfolds over 1 week, starting Friday morning and moving backwards day by day until Monday. Sheriff Zeke investigates a botched bank robbery involving 3 suspects, only to discover one of them is his own brother Andy. Each day ends with a revelation that recontextualizes scenes from previous days, creating a puzzle where each piece adds new understanding to mysteries that seemed already resolved. The 83-minute runtime mixes Coen Brothers-style quirky criminals with genuine tension and multiple unexpected twists. Netflix acquired distribution rights on September 23, 2016, after the film spent years in development limbo following its initial option by Fox Atomic in February 2009. Shimmer Lake demonstrates how reverse chronology works effectively in commercial genre filmmaking beyond art house cinema. The Three-Sided Mirror. In 1927, decades before Betrayal or Memento brought reverse chronology to mainstream attention, French avant-garde filmmaker Jean Epstein created La Glace à Trois Faces, one of the first films to tell its story backwards. Released in 1927 as a silent film running approximately 40 minutes, Epstein's experimental work was part of the French Impressionist movement that celebrated innovative cinematic techniques and pushed boundaries of what film could achieve as an art form. The film presents a triptych narrative structure where 3 different women separately reflect on their romantic affairs with the same man. Through innovative flashback construction, the film merges past and present while moving backwards through time to reveal how these relationships developed and ultimately failed. The experimental editing techniques and violent automobile sequence were considered radical and groundbreaking for 1920s cinema, challenging audiences' expectations of how stories could be told through the medium of film. La Glace à Trois Faces pioneered reverse chronology 51 years before Harold Pinter adapted his play Betrayal for the stage and 56 years before the film version brought the technique to wider audiences. This proves reverse chronology isn't a modern invention, but rather something cinema pioneers experimented with from nearly the beginning of the art form. The film demonstrates the technique's fundamental appeal that has endured across a century of cinema. By reversing time's arrow, we gain new perspective on how the past shapes the present, and how knowledge of outcomes transforms our interpretation of beginnings. If you found this interesting, subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Thanks for watching.